I'll start with the prayers. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Grananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam prayers. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudire shranvatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridayantasto hi bhadrani vidunoti shuhatsatam Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavate uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Just a second. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to our Saturday morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. I want to thank you all for being here and also seeking all of your blessings that I may speak something for my own purification and benefit, as well as speak something that's beneficial for you also. So let us, we're reciting Srimad Bhagavatam from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, Text 37. So I'll share the screen. Because what's happening is I share the screen, I cannot see who's the participant. So I was trying to. So text 37. Brahmananam Shatro Bhuja Mahatma Vid Urur Angri Shata Krishna Varna Nana Vidha Bhijya Gano Papanno Dravyatmaka Karma Vitana Yogaha. One more time. Brahmananam Shatra Bhujo Mahatma Vid Ururangri Shrita Krishna Varnaha Nana Bhida Bhijagano Papanno Dravyatmakaha Karma Vitana Yogaha. Word by word meaning. Brahma, the Brahmanas, Ananam, the face, Shatra, the Kshatriyas, Bhujaha, the arms, Mahatma, the Virat Purusha, Vit, the Vaishyas, Uruhu, the thighs, Angri, Shrita, under the protection of his feet, Krishna Varna, the Shudras, Nana, various, Abhidha, by names, Abhijagana, the demigods, Upannaha, being overtaken, Dravya Atmakaha, with feasible goods, Karma, activities, Vitani Yogaha, the performances of sacrifice. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The Virat Purusha's face is the Brahmanas, his arms are the Kshatriyas, his thighs are the Vaishyas, and the Shudras are under the protection of his feet. All the worshipable demigods are also overtaken by him. And it is the duty of everyone to perform sacrifices with feasible goods to appease the Lord. Purport: monotheism is practically suggested here. Offering sacrifices to many demigods under different names is mentioned in the Vedic literatures, but the suggestion made in this verse is that all those varieties of demigods are included in the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They're only the parts and parcels of the original whole. Similarly, the divisions of the orders of human society, namely the Brahmanas, the intelligent class, the Kshatriyas, the administrators, the Vaishyas, the mercantile community, and the Shudras, the laborer class, are all included in the body of the Supreme. As such, sacrifice by every one of them in terms of pleasing the Supreme by feasible goods is recommended. Generally, the sacrifice is offered with clarified butter and grains, but with the progress of time, human society has produced varieties of goods by transforming materials supplied by God's material nature. Human society, therefore, must learn to offer sacrifices not only with clarified butter, but also with other manufactured goods in the propagation of the Lord's glory, and that will bring about perfection in human society. The intelligent class of men or Brahmanas may give direction for such sacrifices in consultation with the previous Acharyas. The administrators may give all facilities to perform such sacrifices. The Vaishya class or mercantile community who produce such goods may offer them for sacrifice, and the Shudra class may offer their manual labor for the successful termination of such sacrifice. Thus, by the cooperation of all classes of human beings, the sacrifice recommended in this age, namely the sacrifice of congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord, may be executed for the common welfare of all the people of the world. So this verse is in a response. Maharaj Parikshit in the text 22 had asked Sukadeva Goswami that, please describe in full detail how and where the mind has to be applied and how the conception can be fixed so that the dirty things in person's mind can be removed. So he's asking about how this one, we're all so contaminated with so many conception from time immemorial, and our mind is really dirty. So Maharaj Parikshit had asked that how does one basically do a cleanup? And Sukadeva Goswami starts to describe this spiritual form of, or this Viratrupa universal form for people who are too attached to the material life, and they're not able to accept either the Paramatma form or the personal form of the Lord. So he said, for the beginning, one can meditate on these visible material objects, which are actually the presence of the Lord, and with such such meditation on this Virat Rupa, one can get purified and can progress further in the spiritual life. So then he had described this whole Virat Rupa with the different limbs of the Virat Rupa, the planetary systems and the different limbs, the arms, the ears, the mouth, the eyeballs, So this is actually one of the last verses where he's going to, he's describing that how Lord's face is, Virat Purusha's face is the Brahmanas, his arms are the Kshatriyas, the thighs are the Vaishyas, and Shudras are under the protection of his feet. So this this body of the Lord, this different different features of the Virat Purusha, how they represent its different classes in the society. So as we go in the purport, we're just going to kind of go by sentence by sentence and see if we can understand what is Prabhupada's message in that. So first it says the monotheism is practically suggested here. So monotheism is belief that there is only one God. And, it's oftentimes difficult for people, especially who have come from Indian descent, where this demigod worship is very prominent. And, ever since from their childhood, many of us, or, at least I remember that my grandmother, she was very religious, but every day, she would almost fast, I remember 3 to 4 times a week for different days, for different demigods. Like Monday, she would do it for Lord Shiva, and then Thursday was for Sai Baba, and Saturday was for, Lord Hanuman. So that way, so when somebody, grows up seeing this, those impressions are quite deep, these demigod worship. And then it's very difficult sometimes for many people to understand that there is only one Supreme Lord. But as we know that Krishna in Bhagavad Gita has not approved this demigod worship, he has said that the results of worshiping these demigods are limited and temporary. And, Prabhupada here, even in Virat Rupa, is explaining that these demigods are actually included in the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are a part and parcel of the original whole. So if we just water the root of the tree, as Prabhupada has mentioned, then the whole tree, including all the branches and leaves and twigs, everybody is nourished. So Prabhupada in the purport is saying that these demigods, right here it says that all the worshipable demigods are also overtaken by him. And that's, one of the points for us to remember from this, that they all are all the demigods derive their power from Krishna. So it is best to go directly to the source. For example, if there is a big CEO of the company and he has many people working under him, so we can, try to make friendship with each person in each department to, get our work done, or we can just make friendship with the CEO. And if we make friendship with the CEO, automatically, all our work can be done nicely. So that's one thing. And then also these 4 orders. So then these divisions of the orders of human society, Prabhupada is saying that similarly, the divisions of the orders of human society, namely the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and Sudras, are also included in the body of the Supreme. So this 4 orders are created by Krishna. And then Krishna, in 4:13, he says, or he has given, or he says that according to the 3 modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the 4 divisions of human society are created by me. And although I'm the creator of the system, you should know that I'm yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. So this 4 orders, we oftentimes see that they each have their role in the society. And if these 4 orders, if people can understand their own nature and they work according to that, there definitely can be some peace and harmony in the society. So this mention, when we see these 4 divisions that Prabhupada mentions, like sometimes they're used in different contexts according to where they're being mentioned. They're also, we hear about them. And then, what's the purpose of having these 4 divisions? Because as one follows and works according to one's nature, they gradually get purified, and then they can slowly, same thing, make progress in the spiritual life according to their own work that they do. There is, no work abominable. So according to our nature, we should try to work. So then let's see what is next. So the next sentence, Prabhupada is saying, as such, sacrifice by every one of them in terms of pleasing the Supreme by feasible goods is recommended. Generally, the sacrifice is offered with clarified butter and grains, but with the progress of time, human society has produced varieties of goods by transforming materials supplied by God's material nature. So the recommendation, or at least from what I see, Prabhupada is recommending that sacrifice has to be done. Human society is being provided everything by the grace of the Lord. And then the sacrifice where we give back to the Supreme Lord, it has to be done. And the reason we have the sacrifice is recommended, because when one does a sacrifice, it actually relieves one from the bondage, because any work we do, whether it's good or bad, whether it's pious or impious, it creates bondage. It causes one to either suffer or enjoy the results of those fruits of those activities. But if one offers to the Lord, one gets freed from this bondage. And then the sacrifice, again in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is clearly mentioned. He has said that, work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. So Krishna is given, or it's very, specific that yes, you do sacrifice, and to whom? To Lord Vishnu. Because otherwise work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duty for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage. So this sacrifice one must do. And next, it's nicely Prabhupada is whenever we see anything in italics like this, it is very important. Prabhupada is really trying to make a statement or a strong point. So let's read that. Human society, therefore, must learn to offer sacrifices not only with clarified butter, but also with other manufactured goods in the propagation of the Lord's glory, and that will bring about perfection in human society. So we can see that with time, initially, as in we know in all different yugas, there is a proper method given for self-realization or God realization. So this initially, when these sacrifices, when they were, so in the Satya Yuga, it was meditation. And then in Treta Yuga, it is this performances of the fire sacrifices. And in Dwapar Yuga, temple or deity, elaborate deity worship. And then this Kali Yuga, at the end, Prabhupada will tell us that is the congregational chanting of the holy name. So when one follows this method given for a particular yuga, that brings one to the perfection of one's life. Because this human society or this human life is meant for that purpose. I was just listening to Prabhupada's lecture this morning, and he was mentioning that nobody has to learn, how to eat, how to sleep, how to mate. All that is very natural to, to any animals, birds, beasts, aquatics. All according to the body one has received, one will act according to it. But it's only in this human form of life you are given this higher intelligence, and it should be used to inquire about the higher purposes of life. And then this, initially back in the days, times we can see over the time things have changed actually quite a bit, because initially it was the society was based on agriculture. It was more like a barter system where, if I'm a carpenter and you are a farmer, I will say, okay, I will make the tools you need for farming, but in return, you give me a certain amount of grain. So just like that, the society worked very harmoniously, just according to what they were doing, just based on agriculture and farming. But over time, as things changed, there was this industrial revolution, and people started to leave their home to work in the factory. So that's when all these manufactured goods started to come into place. But, all these manufactured goods, even though they're being produced by man in these large factories, it says in the previous sentence that all these goods are just being transformed materials supplied by God's material nature. So even though the raw materials are being provided by the Supreme Lord, and Prabhupada is saying, so even these manufactured goods should also be used in the propagation of the Lord's glory. Because when something is given by the Lord, and if we falsely claim proprietorship, that is, that is not very pleasing to the Lord. And then we get the results of it. So Krishna or Prabhupada is saying, so you use everything in the service of the Lord, because we can see also by Prabhupada's own example that how everything he used for Krishna, he was using tape recorder, he was printing books, everything that, there are so many newspaper and magazines that are being printed. But the difference is that Prabhupada's printing is for Krishna's service. The other ones, they're using it for their own benefit. So this highlights actually this Ishavasya principle, that everything belongs to the Lord, and everybody's given according to their quota what they need. But in return, whatever one gets, it should be used in the service of the Lord. So this, let's see. So even, same for us, we all may have these different gifts, different talents, different nature. But if somehow we can dovetail in the service of the Lord in whatever capacity that we're able to offer, then that can bring about perfection in human society. So there's this realization that, or people knowing that where things are coming from, because the whole society is so engrossed in using or having this life of sense gratification, that nobody is having even time to think about, okay, I'm getting this, but where is this coming from? Even if it's coming from the factory, but where are they getting the materials from? So this intelligence or this question is just not arising in people's mind, because this sense gratification program is so prominent in their society. And then further, Prabhupada says that how each one has a role according to what class they belong. So it's Prabhupada says, the intelligent class of men or Brahmanas may give direction for such sacrifices in consultation with the previous Acharyas. So Prabhupada is saying that, yes, if you're a Brahmana, you're not to act whimsically or make up your own things that people should follow, but rather should be in consultation with the previous Acharyas. So he's highlighting the importance of following a disciplined succession. And further, the administrators may give all facilities to perform such sacrifices. And that includes, obviously, administrator class providing the protection along with the facility. And then the Vaishya class or mercantile community who produce such goods may offer them for sacrifice. So Vaishya class or this mercantile community, they're the one producing these goods. And same thing, they offer it back. And the Shudra class offer their manual labor. So with this, when everybody works in harmony, there can be, as I said, peace and perfection in human society. So thus, by cooperation of all classes of human beings, the sacrifice recommended in this age, namely the sacrifice of congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord, may be executed for the common welfare of all the people of the world. So even though all these different classes are given, and one may try to see that, okay, what class do I really belong? What qualities do I have that I can use? But in Kali Yuga, we're all mixed up. Our roles are not very clearly defined. I personally find myself of having a lot of Shudra qualities because I love to clean. I love to clean and organize things. I like doing things with my hands and legs, like manual labor. I like to do somehow manual labor. But on the flip side, I also like to study shastras, or according to my profession, I would be classified as being in Brahmana. So similarly, we can all evaluate for ourselves and see that we have all these mixed up qualities. So this roles that we have are not very clearly defined. And so even if it's not clearly defined, the main way for one to try to get perfection in this life is through this sacrifice of congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So just by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, we have given this highest one, how to achieve highest perfection of life. Krishna Prema in the mood of Brajvasis, especially gopis. And we can see that the nature of this place is where we are actually lowest of the mankind. So it is only through Lord Chaitanya's mercy we're given the highest, even though we're the lowest. We're all the Jagai and Madhais of this Kali Yuga. And then further, Srila Prabhupada also, by his very merciful, compassionate nature, he had taken so much trouble to come to the West and give us this step-by-step clear process of practicing devotional service, because we are following Bhakti Yoga, process or the path of bhakti. But bhakti oftentimes is defined as devotion. But Prabhupada has kindly, defined it, bhakti, as actually devotional practice. So devotional service. So because one service means one has to do some work, to serve, one has to work. So if we want to practice devotion, we have to work, and we have to work in this mood of remembering that we are part and parcel of Krishna. We're meant to serve him. We are, he's the whole, we're just part of it. So when we serve in this mood, then that brings about the peace and perfection in our own lives, and then we can spread and we can share that with others, and that way our society can benefit from this congregational chanting. So we must follow, or we must try to use our time properly in following this process that Prabhupada has given us. And at the end, Prabhupada is saying that that's when we execute. So not only we practice, but we share. And with the society, with their community, with the people, then this brings about like common welfare. Welfare means good for all the people of the world. So in this process, no one is barred. All are welcome without seeing anybody's caste, creed, color, race, country, where anybody's coming from. Everybody's welcome to join in this congregational chanting. And then we can really see this actually in ISKCON, because as I was mentioning in my Sunday feast class, that everybody's looking for this world peace. And then under this United Nations, Prabhupada mentions many times that this United Nations, it brings about all the countries together, but everybody has their own flags and their own agenda. So there is never like any, they come together, but there is never like a peaceful resolution to the problems of the world. And that is because there is no common center. There is not one common center, but in our ISKCON society, we see that people come from everywhere, any, different countries, different language, different, colors, different races, everything. But when we come together, we are actually one, because we have Krishna as a center. We have this peace in our society, and that is what we want in the world. But yet, it is difficult unless we have this common center of Krishna. So that is what I would like to share. So just in summary, maybe we can quickly see that how this Krishna in his Virat Rupa, different Virat Rupa's face is the Brahmanas, arms are Kshatriya, thighs are Vaishyas, and Sudras are under the protection of his feet. We also talked about this Monotheism, believing that there is only one God, and demigod worship is not recommended. And also we saw that Krishna mentions that he is the creator of these four orders of the society from Bhagavad Gita 4:13. And also how any work we do, it usually creates bondage. But if one does a sacrifice and offers all his work to Vishnu, then it frees one from this bondage. and also this change in human society where things long ago the sacrifice was done with clarified butter and ghee and fire sacrifices, but that is not possible in this age because we have gone through this industrial revolution where everybody is manufacturing many goods, but even those goods should be used in the propagation of Lord's glory, because by doing so, it will bring about perfection in the human society. And also this cooperation with these four classes. The sacrifice that is really recommended for this age is this congregational chanting. It's really for the benefit for the whole human society and not just people in India or America, but it's actually for the people of the world. And having this knowledge for ourselves, we should also feel this need to share with others, to join in and share this love and share this message so everybody can be happy. So yeah, given the short notice, or given the short time that I committed to do this is what I was able to prepare. So I will stop here. I will open it up for any discussion, questions, anything, from reading. Any of you extracted some points, please feel free to share, devotees. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for such nice class. One point I really liked that you mentioned was that our position is in Kali Yuga is like Jagai Madhai, very low. But still, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we got the highest love of Godhead. And so it's like a good reminder for ourselves to keep reminding ourselves that we are the lowest. Like it kind of keeps us humble that we actually got this. We are not born with it. So, and we should take it seriously and follow this process more seriously and surrender more and more to the instructions of Guru and Krishna. So I wanted to mention that point. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, we are so fortunate to, have come in this process because, otherwise what hope do we have? Like you said, it really should make us humble because, there is this always, I personally feel that when we're doing something, we forget this basic that, okay, where and who has given us and, what is our position? So yeah, thank you, Mataji, for highlighting that. Okay, anything else, devotees? Yeah, Lingaraj Prabhu, if nothing is there, then maybe.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for in a short time taking this class. So, in short note, and covering all the topics.
Thank you for the opportunity, Prabhu. So yeah, we will end here, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Sure. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhayavacha patitanam pavanebhyo namo namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srimad